Well, June the 1st today is International Children's Day, a chance to raise awareness of the challenges facing young people across the world. Over 473 million children, that's more than 1 in 6 globally, are thought to live in conflict zones, with over 1 million of those in Gaza. The current conflict between Israel and Hamas started with the attacks on Hamas on October the 7th in 2023. Since then, the United Nations Children's Agency estimated that more than 50,000 children have been killed or injured in Gaza. Roughly 10% of those deaths or injuries have occurred in the last 2.5 months, following the collapse of the ceasefire on March the 18th. Since then, more than 1,300 children are thought to have been killed in Gaza, with over 3,700 more injured. And the lack of aid entering the strip is only making matters worse. Israel imposed a blockade in early March. Since then, more than 1 million children in Gaza have been left without enough food, water or medical supplies. UNICEF is warning that without these essentials, malnutrition and disease will likely surge, leading to an increase in preventable child deaths. Let's get more on all of this now with Christos Georgalas, who's Professor of Surgery at the University of Nicosia Medical School in Cyprus. He was at Khan Yunis until a couple of weeks ago and has also previously volunteered with the Gaza Medical Aid for Palestinians. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, Doctor. Thank you very much. Well, it's really good to have you and to hear listen to your impression of things, because you just got back from the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis a couple of weeks ago, and one can barely imagine the scenes that you must have witnessed. I mean, what were the conditions like, particularly for children?
Yes, I returned actually last Thursday, so it's only 10 days ago. And I was for 1 month working as a head and neck surgeon at Nasser Hospital. It's hard to describe this. If I wanted to use one word, it would be slaughterhouse, and the slaughterhouse of children. The main focus of my work, unfortunately, while I was there, were children. The vast majority of injured that I had to treat were children aged 6, 8, 9-year-old, with shrapnel wounds in the neck, with burns, with crash injuries. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. I was expecting that I would have to treat some children. I wasn't expecting what in my eyes looked like a war against children. That's how it looked like.
Well, it's a really vivid and disturbing picture that you paint. And how does malnutrition, this lack of food, complicate trauma care in that war zone, especially for children?
Exactly. That was what made things worse. According to also to my colleagues, this was described universally as the worst part of the ongoing genocide. And we had trouble getting any food ourselves. The truth is that there were very limited supplies for everyone in the hospital, but for the children were hit the hardest. And in practical terms, what that meant was that children that they needed nutrients to heal. You know, the healing process after a wound is a process that requires energy. You need new blood vessels, you need scar tissue to form. And when the person who is healing is malnourished, then obviously the healing process will not proceed normally. It will be delayed healing. And what I saw was a level of infections that I was not expecting. I was seeing the wounds being saturated, filled with pus, where normally this wouldn't have happened. And I saw delayed healing as a direct consequence of malnutrition. And that was not once or twice. I kept seeing this. And again, as I said, I left Gaza on the 21st of May. Now it's 10 days later. I think from what I'm talking with my colleagues there, the situation is much worse. Every single hour that we go, that goes on, things are deteriorating. There is no time to spare. This must stop now. We need to stop the killing now. There is no excuse for the killing of 20,000 children. I cannot see it as a doctor, as a human being, as a humanitarian. Nothing can excuse this. And I think history will judge us really, really severely on that.
And we've seen these chaotic scenes at the distribution sites. Do you think that enough supplies, is it going to be possible to get supplies up, or is it really all about securing this peace deal?
To be honest, this started after I left Gaza, so I don't have any personal opinion. However, I've been in contact, as I said, with my colleagues, my fellow doctors from Nasser Hospital, and what they're telling me, it's like a trap. They feel that these so-called zones of health or aid distribution are like death traps. The moment they try to go there, and that could mean walking for 40 kilometers, the risk, if they survive it, to go there, if they survive going there, walking for 40 kilometers in a war zone, then arriving there, they may be killed from the contractors, from other people struggling for help. It's completely a disaster. It's not working. No one will be fed in that way, and the risk is just too high for anyone to venture there.
Well, Christos Georgalas, we really appreciate you talking to us today and describing the work of your teams, the incredibly difficult work of your teams in Gaza. Thank you so much. That's Christos Georgalas, Professor of Surgery at the University of Nicosia Medical School in Cyprus.